Hi students, this is Mrs. Marinelli with Business 268 Electronic Calculating, and this video is working on lesson 21, which starts on page 38. And we will go through page 141. We're not going to do page 142 or 143. You're not going to be responsible for that. So we are working on markup. If I am a store owner and I buy my merchandise at cost, dollar cost. What does it cost me? Does this item cost me $25? And then I'm going to sell it at a higher price. I'm going to sell it at selling price. And the difference between the two is called markup. So I have to make money. I have to pay my employees. I have to pay the rent. I have to have money left over for me and my family, insurance. So I have to mark up I have to mark up from the cost to come up with a selling price. So when I worked in a gift store when I was in college, merchandise would come in and I would look at the invoice and see what each item cost, and then I would double it and then add for some shipping. So if the item cost $25, the selling price would be double it, $50, plus just say $1 to make it easy for shipping. So I would sell it for $51. I put a price tag of $51. There are different ways to come up with these figures. Many places use markup based on cost. That's what we're working on first. Markup based on cost. So cost plus markup is going to equal selling price. So if it costs me $10, I mark it up $5, what am I going to sell it for? Okay, so that's what we're working on. So, if you're not accustomed to algebra, you might want to try the triangle method. If markup is based on cost, this is the base, which will be cost. This is the part, which will be markup. And this is the rate, which is going to be the percent. So I buy at cost, I sell it at a higher price, which is going to be the selling price. So I came up with a markup dollar amount to come up with what the selling price is going to be. So if I know that my cost is finding a problem here. If my cost is $40 and I know that my markup rate is 50%, if they're side by side, you're going to multiply. So my selling price plus my markup rate will give me my markup dollar amount. Okay. Cost times markup rate gives me markup dollar amount. So if my cost is $40, if my cost is $40 and my markup rate is 50%, I can do 50 and P for percent, and dollar markup is $20. So this is 20. So what am I going to sell it for? I'm going to take the base, the cost, plus the markup, and I'm going to sell it for $60. $61. Let's do it over here. If I hit my plus, yeah, 60, the machine knows to add it. Okay, so my cost 40 times my markup rate, which is a percent. I can do 50p for percent, and it'll convert the number into a percent, and it's $20. If I hit the plus sign, the machine knows to take the 20 and add it to the 40 and give me the 60. The machine knows to do that. Now, what if I don't want to use P? Anytime you have a percent, there's a whole number, and after the whole number there's a decimal. We don't have any places past the decimal here. To convert a percent to a decimal, you move the decimal to the left. 2 places, 1, 2. So 0.5 or 0.50, if that helps your brain, is the same as 50%. So I could take the $40 times the decimal, which is 0.5, and I get the 20. Now I'm going to have to put it back into my tape though, plus the original 40 to get the 60. So it takes more steps if you don't use the percent sign with the P. So that's page 138, part A. So let's do the next one on part A. Part A, the cost this time is based on cost, so my cost is in the right part of the triangle. The rate is 22%, so I can do 22% or convert it to a decimal, 0.22. The base times the rate is going to give me the dollar markup. So I'm going to, what was it, 22? $50 is my cost times the 22%. I'm going to do 22p because it's easier. And the markup is 11. So now I'm going to take the 50 plus the 11 and get 61. So $50 times 22% gave us the $11 of markup. Hit the plus and it will add the 50 plus the 11 for you and give you the new selling price of $61. So that's when markup is based on selling price. And that's how I did it at the store I worked in. It was really easy because I just had to double whatever the cost was to my employer. Okay, looking on page 139, at the left of page 139, let's see. We worked on this in our last class, taking the percentage and adding it to 100 in our head. So this is similar to what we did in the last class. So if the base is 100%, and I'm going to mark it up 20%, then it's really 120%. And 120% as a decimal, move it to the left, L for left, is 1.2 as a decimal. So if, looking on the bottom section of page 139, if I don't care what the markup dollar amount is, I want to get straight to the selling price, then I can take my cost, which is 100%, and my markup rate, and add the two together to get the percent added instead of adding the dollar amounts. So on page 139, part B, the cost is $67.50, that's 100%, times, if I do 25p, that's the markup rate. I'm going to get dollar markup. I don't care about that. I want to get straight to selling price. So it's 100% plus 25% is 125p. So I can do 125p, and so the two numbers, the cost and the markup rate, are added together already because we added it in the percent. So we'll do one more. Number 9, the cost, let me do it in over here first. If the cost is 100% and the markup rate is 35%, and if cost plus the rate equals selling price, then 135% will give us selling price as a percent converted into money. So 75.15 is the cost, 35% is the rate. We're going to, in our head, add it to 100%, which equals the cost. So what is that, a 35? Can't see, 135p. So in that, by doing that step in my head, I get straight to selling price. I don't have to figure out the markup dollar amount. I get straight to selling price. Okay, so flipping to page 140 and 141. Some people need to figure it out backwards. For example, if I work in a furniture store and an item costs $100 and somebody says, hey, I'll give you 80 for it. Will you sell it for me to 80? Well, the person needs to know, if I sell it for 80, am I taking a loss, or am I going to still make money on this? So some will do it, I'm on page 140, markup based on selling price. So when you do your triangle, selling price is at the bottom, and then our rate is here. Rate always goes here. And then we'll find our markup. And in this case, so selling price minus markup will give us cost. So if I know what my markup rate is for furniture, I can quickly go figure out if I can sell it to you for $80 or not without having to go dig through files or computers and find the invoice to figure out what the cost was. So we're going to have, this time, markup is based on selling price. So I think we'll go to part D first. Let's go to part D, number 26. So the selling price is $75.75, and I know that the markup rate is 30% on chairs or couches or whatever it is. So the $75.75, when they're side by side, you're going to multiply, and that will give you how much it's marked up. So I know selling price. I'm going to multiply to get the markup. And then I'll subtract.
Person detected near your blood bank.
I'll subtract to get the cost. Okay? So, I'm doing number 26, so 75 times the markup rate times 30p, so it's marked up $22.72. So I'm going to subtract the markup from the selling price, so my cost is $53.03. Okay, so we found the $75.75 was given. We took the selling price times the rate to figure out markup, and it came out to be, what was it, $22.72? So you subtract, and our cost is $53.03. So now if I know my cost and somebody wants to come in and bargain, I can know if I can sell it to them for that amount or not. Okay, part C on the same page. If an item costs $75 and there's a sale of 25% on sale, 25% off, I'm going to save 25%. It's off, whatever your brain works, it's off 25%. Well, if I'm going to save 25%, what's it going to cost me? Okay, well, 100% is my whole cost, minus the savings rate, sorry. Then I'm going to pay 75%. If whatever the item costs is 100%, if it's on sale 20%, I'm going to save 20%. I'm going to pay 80%. That's called getting the complement. The complement of 20 is 80. The complement of 25 is 75. The complement of 80 is 20. You just subtract from 100. So looking on page 141, part C, if my price is $120 and my markup rate is 25%, the complement of 25 is 75%. So if I take 120 times the complement, that'll get me straight to my cost. So 120 times the complement of 25, which is 75p, the cost is $90. So cost is 90 because 75% of 120 is 90. So it skips a step. Again, you're doing a step in your head. So if I'm shopping, and I'll use an easy number here, $100, and it's 25% off, I know 100 times 25%, I'm going to save 25. Well, I can also do $100 times the complement. I'm going to pay $75. So I can work it either way in my head. It's easier to subtract from 100 in your head than to then take your savings and subtract from the amount. It's just easier to do in your head. And when you're shopping, you just round. So on part C, you know the selling price, you know the markup rate, you're finding the complement, which is just subtract the rate from 100 to get straight to cost. So selling price minus markup rate gives you cost. And then we're not doing the rest of this chapter, so that's it. Look in your Judy's 10 key packet. You can rewind this and watch again. And I hope you're getting better at seeing numbers in your head. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you.